your host on this channel, continuing our discussion on understanding the customized results of this ongoing transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. In this video, we will try to understand this transit customized and from the perspective of your Moon Nakshatra. So now friends, as you know this thing that Jupiter is going to be spending a lot of time in this Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra being ruled by the planet Saturn. It has entered this Nakshatra on April 28th and it's going to be transiting over here till February of 2023. Although it's going to go retrograde in between as well from July 28th till November 23rd, but even after being retrograde, it's still going to maintain its stay within the boundaries of Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So it becomes very important that basis your Moon Nakshatra, how it's going to be influencing you. Because friends, whenever we talk about any lifetime events, whether you have to get married, whether you are planning a progeny, or you are aspiring for a foreign settlement, or appearing for any competitive exam, so for all of those kind of lifetime events, we always have to give consideration to, are we getting the blessing from the planet Jupiter and are we getting the permission from the planet Saturn? And the beauty over here is that both of these planets are in dignity throughout this year. So Jupiter's transit in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra can be seen as a very good sign for accelerating your spiritual progress, for anything to do pertaining to your professional front. Whether you are aspiring for next level of professional growth, you are planning to start your own business, if you are connected with politics. So the energy of this Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra in itself represents or grants someone this capacity to take some very wise decision. So friends, some of the basic qualities of this Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra I have already explained in the last video. In this video, we will straight away jump to the customized results to all the nakshatra. And friends, the concept which I am going to be using in this video, that is very simple, that is completely on the Navtara concept. So as you know that all the 9 planets which has got the rulership of 3 nakshatras each. So basis their sequence, they can be put in certain categories. Like there could be one nakshatra which could be very friendly towards your Moon Nakshatra. There could be one nakshatra basis its sequence and place in the sequence of the 27 nakshatra. This could be very inimical to you. So I've already made an exclusive video on those Navtara concept. So in this video, I will straight away jump to explaining you the customized results basis your Moon Nakshatra. And I will emphasize that you should only give more weightage and emphasize only to your Moon Nakshatra rather than studying it from your Ascendant Nakshatra or any other Nakshatra. So okay friends, let's start with the Ketu Nakshatras first. So basis the sequence as Jupiter is going to be entering the nakshatra of the planet Saturn, which is the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So Ketu Nakshatras will act as friendly, which will indicate and encourage happiness and companionship to all the Ketu Nakshatras. So for example, if your Moon Nakshatra is ASHWINI, so definitely friends, you can relate or you can see this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada very promising or very favorable for you, specifically pertaining to all the 12th house related matters. Specifically, whether you are based in foreign land, you're planning to appear for any competitive exams, for any foreign university admission, your nature of work, if that involves spirituality, specifically spirituality, or anything to do with the import export line of work, nature of work, so all those people are going to get benefited because of the transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So for all the Ashwini Moon Nakshatra people, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada is actually showering blessing for you guys on all the front, whether you talk about from professional front, from material front, or even from the spiritual perspective. Now friends, moving ahead, now let's say for example, if your Moon Nakshatra is Magha. So now friends, for the Magha people, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada can be seen as a very good sign, specifically if in your case any of the matters of research, of exploration, of occult sciences are getting qualified. And specifically friends, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that Ketu Nakshatras can be seen as or can be classified as Mitra, as friendly nakshatra towards the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So because of which, friends, definitely anything to do with, if you are specifically working in the fields of banking or insurance or revenue, or if you are planning to apply for any foreign residentship or any sort of travels perspective as well, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra can be seen as very promising for all the Magha natives. And specifically, friends, if in your case, if you have been awaiting some sort of inheritance or legacy, or if you're going through any sort of family property related dispute, so things could work out in your favor. So for anything to do with the unexpected gains perspective as well, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra can be seen as favorable for all the Magha Moon Nakshatra natives. Moving ahead, friends, now let's say, for example, if you want to understand this transit for all the Mula Moon Nakshatra people. So definitely, friends, in your case, as you can fairly see that the major impact of this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada is definitely going to influence your domestic life. So for anything to do with if you are working in the fields of real estate, construction, you can get benefited. If for long you have been awaiting to buy your own home, so even from all of those perspectives, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada can be seen as very promising for all the Mula Nakshatra native. Anything to do with whether acquiring or buying a new property, or expecting some pleasing, some lifetime events in your family life. So from all of those perspectives, this transit is indicating very promising news for all of you guys. I would rather insist, friends, for the Mula Nakshatra native, that if you can organize some sort of spiritual retreat, some religious ceremony, some part devoted to Lord Vishnu during this time, during this whole 1 year, that is definitely going to strengthen the possibilities of good luck coming your way. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Venus Nakshatras, like when we talk about Bharani, PURVA-PHALGUNI or PURVA-ASHADHA, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada will act as a Nidhana, which is considered as little bit vulnerable, inauspicious, which could indicate some sort of cleansing, some sort of ending in the houses where it's going to be influencing you. So let's say, for example, friends, starting with the Bharani Nakshatra native. So definitely, friends, in your case, because basis your moon nakshatra, Jupiter is going to be influencing from your moon to the 12th house. So I would say that this can be seen as a major time of cleansing for all of you guys, like all those habits, all those activities, all those people. So all those bad habits need to be get rid of, and Jupiter can actually help you during this time. So friends, you have to understand this thing, because the same way when we were talking from Ashwini's perspective, things were entirely different. Even that time as well, we were talking about the 12th house related matters, but just because of the classification, it was falling more on the favorable side for the Ketu Nakshatras. But for the Venus in people, you have to take into consideration the classification via which it's going to be influencing you. So definitely, friends, all the 12th house related matters will ask answers, discipline, clarity and cleansing out of you. I can also say this thing that, friends, this can actually help all those people in whose case anything to do with the occult sciences, Kundalini, or I have met so many people with highly prominent accentuated 12th house who work as a yoga teacher, Kundalini teacher, so meditation teacher and experts. So if your nature or line of work influences you on that regard, and along with that anything to do with fantasy writing and all of that, working in the adult industry, then it could still be seen as beneficial. But in majority of the ways, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada will ask a strong restraint in your expenses and discipline in all the 12th house related matters. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the Purva-PHALGUNI Nakshatra native. So now, friends, as you can see that when we talk from Purva-PHALGUNI natives perspective, this can be seen as a very good time in this regard, that anything to do with the philosophy, with the higher learning or knowledge or religious spiritual austerities can grant you kind of protection for this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada. So I would say that all the matters which have come to a standstill or a deadlock situation, which need some sort of push from the luck or some sort of divine intervention. So in that regard, you might get benefited. The second thing is that, friends, just because I have already mentioned this thing, all the Venusian nakshatra will come in the category of the Nidhana, basis the Navtara. So you have to do the remedies, which is all about prayers and religious visit and faith. So only if you are maintaining that, you can actually get benefited. Even if you are like anticipating some sort of immigration or foreign travels or all of that, so you can actually get benefited only if you will seek refuge in the worship of Lord Vishnu, or the seeking refuge in prayers and all the divine refuge. Moving ahead, friends, now if you want to understand the results for all the Purva-ASHADHA native. So now, friends, as you know this thing, that when we talk from Purva-ASHADHA natives perspective, definitely, friends, all the 4th house related matters need and will ask lot of discipline and lot of attention from you, because, friends, I have already said this thing, that because of this in the Navtara category, falling in the Nidhana classification, so in the domestic life, Jupiter might ask you, more time or some sort of renovation, some sort of, like if there has been some matters in the family life which have been asking for some sort of, re-arbitration, reconciliation, so that could happen or that could materialize during this time. So there will be little bit kind of unpredictability, uncertainty, or sudden domestic responsibilities might come up on your shoulder. So it becomes very important for you guys how you're going to manage your time, how you're going to give priority to your professional life, to your personal life. So all those things need to be managed with complete perfection. And also, friends, like specifically for all those people in whose line of work, like 4th house related matters are getting qualified, because at the end of the day, friends, we are talking about a nakshatra of the planet Saturn, which in itself is a significant of construction and all of that. So if you are in any way connected with the 4th house related profession, so it's like manage your things with complete scrutiny. Do not be on that extravagant or expansion spree, because if you will not take into account the flow of the money and everything, then debts or sudden abruption might have to be faced. Moving ahead, friends, now for all the sun nakshatras. So now, friends, basis the Navtara category, so for all of you guys, this is gonna act as a sadhak. So all the sun nakshatra will act as a sadhak for this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So now, friends, starting with the Kritika Nakshatra. So definitely, friends, Kritika has its portion spread in 2 zodiac signs, Aries and Taurus. So let's say, for example, if you are falling in the category of the Aries, so your moon nakshatra is Kritika, but in the Aries side. So definitely, friends, if in your line of work anything to do with foreign travels, foreign trade, import, export, spirituality, specifically, friends, we cannot even undermine the kind of spiritual potential with this nakshatra holds or carry within itself. So any sort of religious or spiritual austerities can give you good results or accelerated spiritual progress. And friends, if you have been anticipating some sort of foreign travel or anything to do with work related travel, or your nature of work or line of work is straight away connected with the multinational corporations, digital media or marketing, yoga, spirituality, so all those people can definitely get benefited. Because, friends, when we talk about the sadhak, basis the Navtara qualification, sadhak nakshatras are considered as very achievement and success oriented, like they generally signify fulfillment of the goals. And friends, if your moon nakshatra is Kritika but in the Taurus sign, so definitely, friends, this can be seen as very promising for you guys, specifically all the 11th house related matters. Because of your charm, because of your elegance, you will attract right set of people, right sort of connections towards you. And the beauty over here is that the influence of Uttara Bhadrapada is filled with all sort of wisdom, and Jupiter also represents that. So the beauty of this transit for you guys, for all the Taurus, Kritika, moon people, is that you will attract very right set of mentors, advisors, and like all those people who will run into, they will have something good to advise you or put you on the right path. So even from that perspective, this transit can be seen as very good for all the Taurus, Kritika nakshatra native. Also, friends, let's say, for example, for a long time, any of your professional work related things have come to a standstill or a deadlock kind of situation. So sudden thrust in your favor can be experienced during this time. Because friends, briefly, as you know that Saturn in any case is a very important planet for you guys. It is a Yoga-karaka planet. So Jupiter being the most benefic planet, transiting in the nakshatra of your Yoga-karaka planet, and Saturn, that too in dignity. So I would say friends that your professional front, because friends, when we talk about from nakshatra perspective, then that means that we have narrowed down the analysis to a very subtle planetary vibration. So I can fairly foresee that regarding your professional matters, some sudden thrust will be experienced, divine intervention you can say, or some sudden opportunity or people within your network will prove to be of great help to you during this time of a Jupiter's transit in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Uttara-Phalguni Moon Nakshatra natives. So now friends, if your Moon Nakshatra is Uttara-Phalguni but in the Leo section, in the Leo side, so definitely friends, anything to do with the 8th house related matters like sudden speculative financial gains can materialize during this time. If you are engaged in any sort of PhD, in any sort of research, you can also get benefited. If you are working in the fields of insurance, in revenue, you are awaiting some sort of inheritance or legacies and all of that, so all those things can work out to be in your favor. So specifically this is the case for all the Leo people with the Uttara-Phalguni Nakshatra and your moon being in the Leo side of it. Now friends, if you want to understand this results for all the Uttara-Phalguni nakshatra natives with their nakshatra being in the Virgo side of it, so definitely friends, all the 7th house related matters are going to come to your aid, because the Sadhak nakshatra basis the Navtara qualification classification is all about achievement and wish fulfillment. So definitely friends, if you have been single for a long time, the marriage proposals might come, that too which is going to be completely in line with your expectations. And also friends, for anything to do with growth and expansion in your line of work, so you have your own business, for long you have been thinking about scaling it up or doing that expansion or growing up your business, so all those opportunities are going to be experienced during this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Also friends, as you know this thing that 7th house has also to do with our dealing with the masses. So let's say for example, if in any ways content creation is an integral part of your line of work, you work for the government, so in any way your public image amongst the masses or within the society is definitely going to get enhanced during this time with the transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. You will be sought after for your wise advice and your counsel. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Uttara-ASHADHA Nakshatra native. So now friends, as you can see for all the Uttara-ASHADHA Nakshatra native as well, it's going to be spread between two zodiac signs, Sagittarius and the Capricorn. So now friends, for the Sagittarius sign, Uttara-ASHADHA Nakshatra moon natives, so friends, definitely in your case all the 4th house related matters are going to come to your aid. So for anything to do with buying a new home, or you have been for long awaiting to do any renovation in the home, or some sort of lifetime events within the family, like whether if you are of that age that you are looking out for a partner for yourself, or you are looking out for the matches for your children and all of that, so definitely friends, happiness is going to be experienced during this time. And definitely your heart deep within you will be very much driven towards the religious austerities, all those acts of charity, of benevolence associating with the religious deeds, and those are the kind of thoughts and feelings which will govern your subconsciousness during this time. So definitely friends, your 4th house is definitely going to get that divine bliss during this time of the transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Now friends, let's say for example, if your moon nakshatra is Uttara-ASHADHA but it's placed in the Capricorn side of it, so definitely friends, all the 3rd house related matters will come to your aid. Like let's say for example, you might get this opportunity during this time to work on some new idea, some new plan, options to expand, to grow, to scale up your line of work, whether you are freelance, you are self-employed, or even for all those people who are in any sort of service or who are in any sort of corporate or sales, media, marketing line of work. So this is definitely going to be a time when your work is going to get appreciated, you will feel yourself very empowered, and because of the right decisions taken by you, the prospects and potential of growth can be foreseen for all the Uttara-ASHADHA moon native people with their like their moon being in the Capricorn side of it. And definitely friends, when we talk about your friends, your colleagues, or your siblings, so even their support will also help you. Your influence during this time, you will definitely encash on your influence within the society. Moving ahead friends, now the next category of the nakshatras are being ruled by the planet moon, which will basis the Navtara classification will fall in the category of the Pratyak, which is considered as little bit inauspicious, which represents success only after facing opposition and obstacles. So now friends, let's say for example, if your moon nakshatra is Rohini. So now friends, in your case, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra is going to be influencing your 11th house. So now friends, I would say that success can be achieved, can be accomplished, but you have to be ready and prepared to face little bit kind of initial setbacks, initial opposition. I will not recommend to all the Rohini people to blindly trust anyone. Like, it becomes very important that do not rely or take things on their face value. But let's say for example friends, that definitely your charm is going to be experienced during this time. You will definitely be center of attention during this time of Jupiter's transit in your Uttara Bhadrapada in your 11th house. Your social life might also get expanded during this time. And one more thing friends, I want to say over here is that people will definitely try to give their best advice to you, but it all comes down to first taking into account the credibility of the people who are advising you. Like, is something where they have some of their own advantage, in that guise of trying to help you, or they are truly your well-wisher. So those are the few things which you have to take into consideration. Because when we talk about the moon nakshatra, because when moon is placed in its own nakshatra, it becomes very impressionable, very trustworthy, like everything is good and everyone has to be good, but that's not the reality of the world. So that is one thing which the Rohini moon natives have to take into consideration. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Hasta Nakshatra natives, so now friends, in your case, all the 7th house related matters are going to come to scrutiny. So now friends, just because in the Navtara classification, it has come in the category of the Pratyak. So because of which all the 7th house related matters might give you initially some sort of opposition, some sort of, opposition. Because friends, as you know this thing that when we talk about the innate qualities of Hasta has everything to do with perfection, with being very timetable oriented, being very punctual. So you might initially face this thing that, okay, people are not following your terms. You might find it difficult to adjust or adapt to other people's opinions. But trust me friends, after initial few setbacks and adjustments, you will definitely get the best out of this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra in your 7th house. I'll again say the same thing, whether you work in politics, or you are working for the government, or you have your own business, this transit is definitely going to put you in a better state, in a better place. Financially, there is definitely going to be gain, but only after facing little bit of the initial opposition in the matters of the 7th house. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Shravan Nakshatra natives, so definitely friends, this transit is going to create little bit of the difference of opinion with your friends, with your colleagues, with your siblings. So those all are the areas where you have to remain little bit accommodating. Also friends, if you want to initiate something, you're working on some new idea or some new project, you are planning to change a job, so try to take the opinion and expert advice of people around you. What do they have to advise? What do they have to contribute, or what do they have to say? Then only make your moves, plan your moves. But apart from that friends, definitely when we talk about all those people who are connected in the fields of sales, media, marketing, journalism, or you have your own business, you are a freelance, self-employed person, all those people can get benefited only if you can remain little bit welcoming to the initial few delays or opposition. That is the only one thing which I want to say over here for all the Shravan Nakshatra native. Moving ahead friends, now next category of nakshatras are being ruled by the planet Mars, which as per the Navtara table will fall in the category of the Shema, which represents prosperity and increase in fortune. So now friends, as you know this thing that when we talk about the first, which is the MRIGASHIRA Nakshatra, which is equally spread into zodiac sign Taurus and Gemini. So now friends, if your moon nakshatra is like MRIGASHIRA but in the Taurus side of it, so the transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada is going to be influencing your 11th house. So definitely friends, during this time your social influence in the society will increase, because Uttara Bhadrapada is a nakshatra which is being ruled by your Yogakaraka planet Saturn. So even within your professional sphere, some important development, progress and achievement can also take place. The beauty of this transit is that your friends will definitely act as a mentor, as a good advisor who will encourage you or push you in the right direction. Now friends, if your moon nakshatra is MRIGASHIRA but it is placed in the Gemini side of it, so definitely friends, during this time you will be able to multitask things, you will be able to execute things with complete perfection. Like I will not be surprised if your bosses will be coming to you for your advice. And also friends, when we talk about Jupiter's influence in the Uttara Bhadrapada, it has everything to do with doing things in a right way, inspiring people to the best of their capabilities. Like if you are on a mid management or on a top management, so even your leadership style is going to be looked at as someone who is very inspiring, who is very inspirational, who is very motivational. Also friends, because 10th house also has to do with our karma, with our actions in the society. So during this time you might be driven towards religious and spiritual austerities as well. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Chitra moon nakshatra native. So now friends, just because this is falling in the Shema category, so all the Chitra moon natives are definitely going to get benefited. Now let's say for example, if your nakshatra is Chitra but it is in the Virgo side of it, so definitely friends, it is going to influence all the 7th house related matters of yours. So I can fairly see that, you know, all those people who have been single for a long time, so prospects of all the proposals or running into someone, prospective match can be foreseen during this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada. Also friends, when we talk about anything to do with your professional networking or business expansion in the line of work or in your business, increase and enhancement of your reputation, so from all of those perspectives, this transit can be seen as a very good sign. I've seen many Chitra people who are in the hotel business, who are in the restaurant business, who work as a graphic designer, content creator, fashion designer. So definitely friends, your projects, your created craft and products are definitely going to get appreciated because of the fine aesthetics and attention given to the detail. Now friends, if your moon nakshatra is of like Chitra but it is placed in the Libra side of it, so now friends, as you know this thing that when we talk about the Libra side of it, so it is going to be influencing more of your 6th house related matters, which can be seen as a very good sign friends. So definitely friends, in your line of work, in your craft, you will be encouraged to do work with perfection during this time. If you are a salaried professional, so your terms with your teammates, with your colleagues is definitely going to improve during this time. And also friends, because the distinctive quality of Chitra is attention given to the detail, about the aesthetics, about the embellishment, about the beauty. So all of your work which has got too much of the meticulous efforts put by you is going to get appreciated by your teammates, rather even by your bosses as well. And even within your line of work, you have been anticipating some sort of promotion, some sort of next level of growth, so that can also be foreseen with this entry of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Dhanishta Nakshatra people, so now friends, if your moon nakshatra is Dhanishta but in the Capricorn side of it, so now friends, as you know this thing that Dhanishta Nakshatra has everything to do with the Martian approach and attitude of friendship, of your influence, of your contacts. So if you are a Capricorn Dhanishta native, so definitely friends, you will get this provision to work on some new ideas. You will be able to encash on any sort of opportunity. You might be able to introduce to some new market, new people, new set of executing your line of work and all of that. So new opportunities can definitely be foreseen for all the Capricorn Dhanishta native. Definitely you will be able to encash on your influence, and whatsoever initiatives you are gonna take during this time, that might be divine protected during this time. And friends, for all the Aquarius Dhanishta natives, definitely friends, in the matters of your finances, you are going to experience the bliss during this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Definitely friends, within your family network, like people who are very close to you, close family members, you will be able to help other people as well, and because of your influence, other people can also get benefited. So specifically on the matters of finances, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada is going to come as a blessing in disguise for all the Aquarius Dhanishta native. Friends, the only thing is that when we talk about the second house related energy, so specifically your eating habits, because Uttara Bhadrapada and the influence of Jupiter many times give concerns of weight gain as well. So if you do not have a control in your eating habits, I would say keep it in complete control, otherwise you might regret that you have gained a lot of weight. But in the matters of finances, a very good time can be foreseen. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Rahu Nakshatras. So now friends, basis the Navtara classification, all the Rahu Nakshatra will fall in the Vipat category, which represents little bit of the obstacles. So now friends, starting first with the Uttara Moon Nakshatra natives. So now friends, in your case, one thing which I want to say over here is that Jupiter can actually grant you some professional opportunity, professional gains and all of that, only if you can work on not getting argumentative with your bosses, if you can only work on your childlike temper. Because many times I've seen Uttara natives, they tend to speculate a lot, they tend to gamble a lot in terms of with their luck and everything, and their childlike temper or their unpredictability many times work against them. So only if you can work in all those areas, growth can still happen for all the Uttara Moon Nakshatra native. Now friends, for all the Swati Nakshatra natives, so now friends, trust me, I always say this thing, that when we talk about out of all the nakshatras of the Rahu, it's only the Swati which has the potential of manifesting the best of the diplomatic skills of the Rahu. So make use of all of that. This is not the energy for you guys to get into dispute, get into arguments, or being very headstrong. This is the time for you to get your job done, get your work done with complete diplomacy. The second thing is that friends, definitely whatsoever you want to accomplish or achieve, you can achieve that only if you can handle criticism and you can handle any initial opposition. That is the only thing which I want to say over here. Definitely the work related environment will ask strong competitive spirit out of you, will make you work hard, and only if you're not gonna surrender to all of those initial resistance, you can actually come out with flying colors during this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Lastly friends, for all the SATABHISHA Nakshatra native, so definitely friends, in your case, the way you manage and handle your finances will definitely come into scrutiny. The second thing is that although SATABHISHA natives can be a genius, but their only setback or their flaw is that many times they burst out at wrong times. So try to keep control of your speech, the way you're going to speak on any sensitive situation, in the matters of any family gathering and all of that. Only if you can work on that. In the matters of finances, specifically if your line of work is connected with the Saturnian fields, like anything to do with technology, with construction, with real estate, with consulting. So if you are connected in all these fields, you can actually get benefited. Only thing you have to work on is on your speech and not kind of giving outburst. Now friends, the next category of nakshatras are the Jupiter ruled nakshatra, which will, as per the Navtara category, will fall in the Sampath, which is going to promote wealth and prosperity. So now friends, starting with the Punarvasu nakshatra. So definitely friends, for all the Punarvasu nakshatra natives, it is going to be bringing some very good news for all of them. Now friends, definitely if you are going to have your moon nakshatra Punarvasu in the Gemini side of it, so friends, definitely in your professional front, lot of gains, new opportunities are going to come, and your bosses will actually act as your guru, as your mentor, who will advise you and push you in the right direction. Now friends, if your moon nakshatra is Punarvasu, but it is falling in the Cancer side of it, so definitely friends, whether you are aspiring to get any foreign residentship, any of the concerns of undergoing higher qualifications, that can also materialize during this time. Jupiter might also promise some sort of travels, foreign travels, and also if you are very spiritually inclined. So arrival of Guru in your life can also be foreseen for all the Punarvasu Nakshatra native. Now friends, moving ahead, now for all the Vishakha natives. So now friends, in your case, as you can fairly see that Vishakha energy is also spread in two zodiac signs like Libra and the Scorpio. So starting with the Libra natives. So definitely friends, like if your moon nakshatra is Libra Vishakha, so friends, in your line of work, like because of your multitasking approach, the way you manage things, the way you deal your juniors, your subordinates, the kind of perfection you have in your craft, many times Vishakha natives also tend to become obsessive, but only for their advantage, only for their good. So if you work with these kind of work style and ethics, you can definitely get benefited in your line of work. You can actually face and experience the blessings of the planet Jupiter. The matters and the concerns of health can also improve, and if there has been long some sort of concerns of debts and all of that, that can also get dissipated. Now friends, let's say for example, if in your case your moon nakshatra is Vishakha but in the Scorpio side of it, so definitely friends, if you have been associated with the fields of art, entertainment or creative industry, you are still student and going through your studies and all of that, or if in your line of work, stock market, trading, speculative nature or line of work is involved, so all those people can get benefited because of the Jupiter's transit in this Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is the nakshatra of the planet Saturn, which promises strong foundation and which grants us stability in the life. So definitely right set of advice, right set of mentors will guide you in the right direction. And also friends, fifth house has also a lot to do with the spiritual practices as well. So interest and any sort of involvement in yoga, meditation and breathing practices can actually accelerate your spiritual progress. Now friends, the last is the PURVA-Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So now friends, as you know that PURVA-Bhadrapada is also spread between two zodiac signs. So starting first with the Aquarius PURVA-Bhadrapada. So definitely friends, all the matters of your finances are going to receive and experience the blessings of the planet Jupiter during this time. Now whether if your line of work is connected with the Jupiterian field, whether you work in banking field or in any sort of finance field or anything to do with the consulting or being an advisor, so all those people are definitely going to get benefited. The way you're going to talk to people, you're going to present yourself, you're going to advise people, definitely it's going to get appreciated and acknowledged by all of your audience. Now friends, if your like moon nakshatra is PURVA-Bhadrapada but in the Pisces side of it, so that means that Jupiter is almost coming right over your natal moon. So this can be seen as a very good time friends, as you know that the transit of Jupiter over the natal moon is always a time of blessings coming right over to you. So all those line of work or all those important events of your life which needs the push of the luck or the blessing of the divine, like this could be anything, getting married or awaiting a childbirth or buying a new home, a new residentship, resettlement in a foreign country. So all those things can materialize during this time with the transit of Jupiter over your natal moon nakshatra. Moving ahead friends, now for all the Saturn ruled nakshatra, basis the Navtara classification will fall in the category of the Birth Moon Nakshatra. So now friends, starting first with the Pushya Nakshatra. So definitely friends, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada will promote and encourage lot of learning, lot of gaining of wisdom for all of you guys. Like trust me, there is going to be lot many foreign travels for you as well during this time. And also friends, like if you have been trying for long residentship, concerns of visa or immigration, or you are in that stage where you are applying for any foreign universities and all of that, so all of your endeavors, all of your aspirations can get materialized during this transit of Jupiter in your own ruled planet's nakshatra, which is the Uttara Bhadrapada. Now friends, from Anuradha nakshatra's perspective, so definitely friends, as you know this thing that Anuradha nakshatra has everything to do with the devotion. And when we talk about this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada, this is going to be accentuating all the qualities of spiritual austerities, of mantra practice and devotion. So trust me friends, only if during this time you can give more and more attention and prioritize your spiritual growth and progress, you can actually excel in all these areas. And also friends, for anything to do with gaining in the fields of art, entertainment, if that is getting qualified in your case, if you are still a student, you can also get benefited benefited. And also friends, for gaining in stock market and trading as well, this transit can be seen as very promising for all the Anuradha Nakshatra natives. And lastly friends, if let's say for example your moon nakshatra is Uttara Bhadrapada and Jupiter is going to be coming right over it, so that can be seen as a very good news. Friends, this transit will definitely give you chance to grow as a person with your knowledge, with your wisdom, and expand the horizon of your thinking, your thought process. And actually friends, when we talk about some sort of receiving good advices from people around you and capacity to take right set of decision, like you are in that stage of your life where you have to actually redesign, restructure your life, take some important decision. So all of the decisions taken by you during this time will prove to be very fruitful. And also friends, because the thoughts of righteousness, religious austerities, doing something good for people, doing charities, spiritual interest, and all of that is definitely going to dominate your thought process during this time. And lastly friends, all the nakshatras ruled by the Mercury will fall in the category of the Ati Mitra as per the Navtara table classification. So Ati Mitra means very good friend. So trust me, all the Mercury Moon Nakshatra natives are going to get benefited. So now friends, starting first with the ASHLESHA natives. So definitely friends, in your case, this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada is indicating success in all the endeavors, where the support of luck will definitely help you. Now whether you are planning to move to a new country, any of the concerns of business, specifically if in your line of work or in your business, any sort of counseling is involved, consulting is involved, import export is involved, so any sort of foreign element, if that is involved in your line of work, or let's say for example for long you have been working in a narrowed or a domestic markets and now you want to scale up or you want to expand, so during this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada, it might materialize all those opportunities for you guys. Moving ahead friends, now for all the JYESHTHA Nakshatra natives, so now definitely friends, during this time, like the transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra can be seen as very promising, specifically if you have been long planning to expand your family, any of the concerns of progeny and all of that, you can get benefited in all of those matters. Also friends, the qualities of JYESHTHA has a lot to do with the concerns and inclination towards gaining that domination, gaining that power and authority in the society. So this transit is also coming across as very favorable if you have been awaiting some sort of promotion, next level of growth in your line of work. So that can also be foreseen with this entry or this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra for all the JYESHTHA Nakshatra natives. And lastly friends, for all those natives who have got their moon nakshatra as Revati. So now friends, this transit of Jupiter can be seen as very promising for all of you guys for anything to do with experiencing that divine bliss, or like thinking on a very expanded, on a very broader plane. Like when we talk about Jupiter coming right over and close to your moon nakshatra, it has everything to do with feeling inspired, feeling driven, feeling motivated. That sort of sense of optimism is going to be experienced during this time. Now definitely friends, during this time you will be very much driven towards the religious thoughts or anything to do with the spiritual acts or activities. And also friends, specifically if in your line of work, anything to do with advising, with mentorship, with training people, teaching people, if all that is an integral part of your line of work, you can actually get benefited. I'll again say the same thing friends, because Jupiter coming right over to your moon has everything to do with experiencing bliss, growth, expansion in all areas of your life. So that is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs in the second part of this transit of Jupiter in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.